My first experience with technology was my family's old Dell computer. I don't remember the exact brand, but I know it used Windows 98, and my dad showed me how to play some games on it. Honestly, I remember being interested in it for a couple of days, but the internet was very slow because we had dial up, so I got bored of it pretty quickly. The biggest technological change I've seen growing up is cell phones. I didn't get my first phone until I was 14, and it was a flip phone that couldn't do any of the basic things that a normal smartphone can today. According to World Economic Forum, there were 740 million cell phones at the start of the 2000s, and recently that number is now over 8 billion, which means there are now more phones than even people. Now phones can do almost anything a computer can. Another massive improvement I've seen is gaming consoles. When I was a kid, the GameCube and Nintendo 64 was very popular, but they could only run simple 2D games. Now we have VR that mimics all of our movements and puts you in a very complicated and realistic 3D generated world. The way I use technology, for the most part, is still the same. I still mostly use it for entertainment or, an escape. However, the availability and the quickness of content in all forms is much, much greater now. I would argue we actually have too much media now. Not only is it more obviously biased and pushing certain narratives depending on who owns that media, there are almost no restrictions to who can view it. So you can be indoctrinated to certain ideologies very quickly. And even beyond that, in a less radical sense, you can just watch shows and play games all day mindlessly because they're addictive. And I don't think that's a good way to live your life. I think what technology is capable of is amazing and can make our lives better, but ultimately, I think humans are too vulnerable for the technologies we have today, and we don't understand how dangerously powerful it truly is and the unshakable hold it has over us.